Hello, welcome to Maths with EJD. In this video, I'll be talking about Jupyter. I'll be talking about Jupyter Notebook in scientific computing with Python. So it happens that Jupyter Notebook is the integrated development environment to be using, and I want to show you the process of getting to that place. So I want to assume that you have already installed Jupyter Notebook from the previous video, the first video under this, where I introduced you to scientific computing with Python. So check the description box, you see how to go about it through Anaconda. So here, I want to talk about Jupyter Notebook. So I'll share my screen and then I'll navigate my way to that place. All right. So the first thing I'll do is, no, assuming you've already installed Jupyter Notebook. So, I mean, you've installed Anaconda and then you have Jupyter Notebook. So you see this. So by coming to your search bar here, in my case, I have Jupyter Notebook Anaconda 3, and then I click on this. So it opens something. So it opens this command line. Now the temptation is you may want to close this command line, but don't close it. It's actually like the engine running whatever you're doing in Jupyter Notebook. Very important. So the next thing I want to do is I want to navigate to where my folder is, the folder where I'm working with scientific computing with Python. So in my case, it is on the desktop. So I go to the desktop and then I find scientific computing with Python like this. So as you can see, so the next thing I want to do is I'll go to new. I click on new and I click on notebook and then it opens a notebook for me. So here I can just title it scientific computing, scientific computing with Python, And so I just click on rename. So that has been renamed. So this is the interface you get. It's like a web-based thing, but it doesn't mean you have to be online like that, you know. As far as that command line, as far as this command line is running and you have not closed it, it will keep working. Okay. So this is Jupyter Notebook. This is the environment. Now, this Jupyter Notebook has some very interesting functionalities that I'm going to focus on. So in Jupyter Notebook, right, you can you can show figures, you can write notes, you can write codes, you can even write equations. See, four things like this. So I can say, okay, let's start with the possible capabilities. So the default, if you come to this area, you see the default thing is code because most of the time people write codes here, but then you can actually do other things like markdown. So if you want to write a note or something, you can actually use Markdown. So let's play a bit with this whole idea of Markdown. For instance, here, the title of this video is actually Jupyter Notebook. So I just say, so if I want it to be a heading, so I put one hash sign, and then I type Jupyter Notebook, Jupyter Notebook. So if I run this now, see, it brings it like I'm right, like a text, like a note, you know. So Jupyter Notebook is the title here. So then after that, maybe I want to talk about the capabilities of Jupyter Notebook. Okay, let me say, I can even write a note. I can say Jupyter Notebook, Jupyter is a short form, for Julia, you know, or let me make it Jupyter all big, Jupyter. So Jupyter is a short form for Julia. So that's Julia. Julia is actually a programming language too. I don't know how to use that actually. So Julia, and then the next thing is Python. So that's Python, which we actually are focusing on in this case. Python, you know, Python, and R, you know, so the ER stands for R there. So it means that, yeah, you can, you know, with the necessary facilities, you can actually use this environment for Julia, Python, and R. So I know I've used it for R before, right? So now one other thing is, what if I want to make this into like a bullet point? So what we do in that case is just put a hash and press this. I mean, or is it double hash now? So this double and go this way. So if you run this, okay, this doesn't work. Is it only one? Let me see. Yes. So if you put just one star, that will be that. Then of course, what if you want to make all these some things bold? So just put one hash before, one hash after. Okay, one hash before, one hash after makes it italicized, but I want to make it bold. Okay, let's make it italicized, right? Let's make it italicized, but we'll find opportunities to make things bold. So, I mean, this whole video is about you finding your way around Jupyter Notebook. That's what we're doing, all this. So I want to italicize all this. So then you keep running. So to run, you can do that. Another way by which you can run is you can just come here, you can press Control, hold Control and press Enter. It also runs. Another way you can do that is by coming to what else? Okay, I mean, those are the two ways right now. So Control Enter, or you click on this run this cell and advance. So that is it. So that is that. So still talking about Jupyter Notebook, right? So we can say you can see it automatically gave me the second bullet, right? So Jupyter Notebook is is a very useful IDE that's very useful integrated development environment that's IDE for running Python codes Python codes for running Python codes. Okay, so if you run that again, you see that also comes out that way. So okay, well, if I can go back and do something here. So Jupyter Notebook is the general title. What if I say I can say introduction, or maybe I can say overview of Jupyter Notebook, overview. I can say overview of Jupyter Notebook. So if I run this now you can see I put two hashtags. Two hashtags will make overview a subheading. I mean a sub highlight under Jupyter Notebook itself. So the more hash you have, the lesser the headline it will be. So what else? We can also say that it is comparable. Jupyter Notebook now is comparable with Google Colab, in that they both operate like web-based stuff like this. But the interesting thing about Google Colab is that you can have your whatever you do can automatically be saved in Google Doc. So it is comparable with Google Colab. And another thing is that it is used for running codes and trying them out immediately and trying them out immediately. So, and trying them out immediately. Okay, so you can see this is all happening in Jupyter Notebook. So the next thing I want to do is let's talk about the capabilities. Okay, now you can see this is code. That's why it's not appearing this way. So I have to intentionally go back and change it to code, or I mean change it to markdown. Whenever you want to write a note, it's markdown you have to use. If you want to write an equation, it is markdown you use. So when you want to actually write a Python code, which I'm going to talk about very soon, that's when you use code. Okay, so here I want to talk about the capabilities. So I'll use double hash, so it means to be at the same level as overview. So I say capabilities of Jupyter Notebook, Okay, I can also come here and say overview of Jupyter Notebook, overview of Jupyter Notebook. All right. So run this. run the next one. So you can see that also. So for capabilities, right? So I can just say now that, okay, it's good for coding. Okay, or you can say you can write codes. You can write codes. You can write notes. That what we are doing now is like writing notes. You can write notes. You can write notes. What else can you do? You can display pictures. You can display. Okay. Okay. Well, let me just say you. I mean, let me just leave it that way. Okay. You can write codes. You can write notes. You can display pictures, graphs, and charts. So let me say using Jupyter Notebook, notebook, you can write codes, you can write notes, you can display pictures, graphs, and charts. Next, you can write equations. You can write equations like that. So these are some capabilities of Jupyter Notebook. So I mean, I particularly love Jupyter Notebook because for as a teacher, right, it's good for me. I can anything I need to do. Like if I need to write notes, I need to write a code. Like if I'm teaching a topic, say I'm teaching calculus, and it gets to a point and I need to write a code to run something in what I'm teaching, I can do that all in one place. So that's one very big deal about Jupyter Notebook. Okay, so let me create another heading. Say general. Okay, this is in Markdown now. Okay, well, in this case now, okay, I'm going to explain some shortcuts very soon. Should I start with that now? Okay, let me still do these things I'm doing. So let me say control. Okay, well, let me just take it to Markdown. I'll talk about the control stuff very soon. So in this case now, I want to talk about should I call this format or what exactly can I call this? Trying to think of the best name to call this. Okay, cell type. Good. So I can talk about cell types. Cell types. Nice. Cell types. So for cell types, right? So you have code, right? Code. This is this is turned on. This is turned on when when you need to write, Python codes. Okay. Then you have Markdown. This should be used. This should be used when when you need to write notes, and equations. So those are some cell types here. So like that. Okay. So let's talk about some shortcuts. Um, let's talk about Jupyter Notebook shortcuts. Jupyter Notebook shortcuts. Is shortcut one word or two? Let me say shortcuts. Okay, I think it should be shortcuts. Okay. So you have let's start with creating new cells, right? So you say creating new cells. Creating new cells. So to create new cells, normally this is where you can come here, you can just click on this uh plus sign. It's create you can see a new cell is created downwards. But then the actual shortcut is so if you point at that plus, right, you can see B. So if you click on B, it will create new cells. Okay. You are in this cell now, right? You want to create new cells below. So first of all, press escape. Once you press escape, you can see that this blue line is still focusing on this cell. So if you now press B, you discover that you can keep creating new cells like that, or, all the way. So to create new cells, there are two ways to this. To create new cells, you can actually create new cells below below a cell. So you just escape, press escape, press escape, escape on keyboard, press escape on keyboard, and keep pressing B. Okay, press escape on keyboard and keep pressing B. So this escape now is like a key thing here. And then, okay, now instead of italicizing, let's do bold and keep pressing B again on your keyboard too. So, as much as you want. Okay, so here, this is actually appearing as code. So, to take it back to Markdown, right? Maybe let me quickly do that. So if I press M, okay, is it Control M now? So if I press Control, okay, take it back to Markdown. You have, okay, if I press Escape and I press M, it automatically turns this thing to Markdown. Okay, so I can even add that as a shortcut. Say convert code cell to markdown cell. What do? You always press escape. So press escape again, press escape, press escape, press escape, and press M and press M. Okay, let me just say I'm press B here. So M changes it to markdown and press B up here. So I'm press M. So as you can see now if I press escape again, you can see that this blue line shows that the focus is still here. And I press Y, I take it back to code. If I press M, I take it to markdown. So when you see that blue thing, that's markdown. When you see something green, that is code. Blue, that when I press M, markdown. Y, that is code. So, but what we want here is markdown. So I can actually run this now. Okay, I can actually run this now. So you can actually also, so to convert, okay, let me just copy and paste this. So if you want to convert, you need to convert markdown cell to code cell, convert markdown cell to code cell. So again, you press escape on keyboard and press Y just like escape, press what? Okay, escape Y, that's code. M, back to markdown. So we have seen B, right? For creating a new cell below. What if you want to create a new cell above a cell? So you want to create a new cell above a cell. So again, what you do here is A stands for above, B stands for below. So for below, we're pressing B. For above, we're going to press A. So let's say press escape on keyboard again and press A. So if I press escape here now and I press A, okay, that's not effective yet. I press escape now, you can see it's highlighting this blue bar is on this cell. So it means if I press A now, it will create new cells above it. You can see new cells, we have new cells above like that. So another shortcut is, what if you want to delete cells? So to delete cells, right, you can do delete is D, right? But here it will be double D. So keep pressing DD. I mean, okay, first press escape. Escape is always important for shortcuts. Press escape, and you can see this bar is on this cell now. So if I press DD, that cell is going to go. DD, gone. So I keep pressing DD, DD. So you can see it's deleting all that. So let me leave only that one. So that's another shortcut, right? So that's to delete a cell. Delete a cell. So to delete a cell, what we do is we press escape, like this, press escape on keyboard, and then you press DD like that. So, and we run this. So these are some Jupyter Notebook shortcuts. There are more, but I mean, these are the ones that will be always useful. So again, if I want to delete most of these things now, I just press escape and keep pressing DD. So you can see the cells are getting deleted. So I mean, don't get carried away and then delete what you don't want to delete also. So let me just call this Jupyter Notebook cell types, So this goes. All right. Now, interestingly, all the Jupyter Notebook we are going to get, as I generate these notes, I'm going to, always attach a link where you can download the whatever I type, the codes, the notes, and everything. You're going to have access to them. So watch out for that. In case I forget, please, you can always comment and remind me. So now, before I leave this part, now you can also see that there are some other things here too. You can duplicate a cell. Like if you have this cell now, you want to duplicate it. So you can see there's something like that here now. Create a duplicate of this cell below. So click on it. You see the cell will be duplicated automatically. So if you want to delete also, instead of DD, you can actually click on this delete and it will also go. So if you come here too, you can, you can also, if you want to move this thing up, so you can use this Control Shift up or Control Shift down, I mean, these are some other shortcuts, but I mean, if I want to move this up, I can move it. If I can want to move it down, I can keep moving it down like that, So move it up, move it down. You can do that. Then the other thing is you can create cell above, just the A we talked about. You can create another cell below. So all these ones by the side, that if you have the latest Jupyter Notebook, you are going to have these functionalities. Of course, I think it also depends on your system. It also depends on the kind of system you're using. So these are some key things about Jupyter Notebook. So far we've used Markdown like that. So let's talk about let's talk about writing codes. Writing codes. Writing. Now this thing is appearing in green. That means it's still in code format. But I mean, this is a note, right? Writing codes in Jupyter. Okay, let me say writing Python codes. Writing Python codes in Jupyter Notebook. Writing Python codes. So this is in Markdown, in code, so we have to make it Markdown. So I press escape and I press escape and I press M. So now if I run it, this is what I have. So to write code, right, you have to make sure that the cell type is code. You have to make sure code is what you have here. So one of the simplest codes you can write in Python is, you can just say print. We always like this hello world thing. Print hello world. Hello world. Hello world. Hello world. Hello world. Okay, that's like the simplest code you can write in Python, right? Then you can of course do other things like, okay, say in another say you can say x is equal to 3, y is equal to 7.2, and z is equal to say 2.4. And then you now start printing plenty things. You can say print x plus y. Okay, if you do that, okay, looks like that now. Okay, because we have them on the same line. Okay, let's put them on different lines. Would that be a reason? So if we put them on different lines, do we get that? Yeah, so this works. So print x or x plus y, then print x times y, x times y, now times in this place. Now I'm going to talk about the different variable types and the operations on them. So not a problem. So in future videos, we're going to deal with all of these things. Print xy, then you can print x times y divided by z. So if you run this now, you see all these things coming up. So you can type codes like that. So so that this video will not be too long, let me quickly go and talk about writing equations in Jupyter Notebook. Writing equations, writing equations in Jupyter Notebook. Now, for those who know how to use LaTeX already, I mean, for those who studied mathematics or you studied physics or something like that, and you use Jupyter Notebook, that is, you use LaTeX rather, that's going to be very useful here if you want to type equations in Jupyter Notebook because it uses that format. So I want to convert this one to Markdown. So now to write equations, right? Let me say you need to be to write equations, of course, you need it to be in Markdown, like I said before. So let's say that the equation. So I want to start now. So it's like I'm writing a note and I want to have an equation in between. So the quadratic equation rather, the quadratic equation is given as, okay, now you want to write type equation, so you put $2. So it is given as ax raised to power 2 plus bx plus c equals 0. All right. So this one now, if you run it, you see it gives you this beautiful looking thing. So if you already use LaTeX, then it shouldn't be a problem to you. And its solution, and it's okay. Well, you can also double the dollar signs if you want the equations to stand out. You can double the dollar signs, and its solution is given as, so I double the dollar signs too if I want the equation to stand separately, and its solution is given as, what's happening here? Okay. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. Okay, and its equation is given as, when you solve quadratic equation, it's x equals do I still remember that? X equals minus b. Yeah, I remember it has to be a fraction. So let me call it a diffraction now. This. So this minus b backslash pm, that's plus or minus square roots, plus or minus square roots of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. All right, divided by 2a. So if you run that, see what you get. Okay, I think I have too many dollar signs on this side, probably. Okay, still too many. Yes, so this works perfectly. So so to write equation in Jupyter Notebook, you need to do like LaTeX. So this is like a general overview of Jupyter Notebook. So you can do a whole lot. Now, of course, I can also display pictures. I told you the other time that you can display pictures. For instance, I have, if you are trying to, you can drag a picture from somewhere. Like, imagine I want to display the Python logo, that blue and yellow thing. So all I just need to do is, I just copy that, and then this is like from ipython.display, import display, image, HTML. These are like Python libraries, as we're going to see later. But then the image itself is from this URL, https blah blah blah, a Python web page. So if I enter that now, you see it brings out that picture. In the same way too, if you solve a problem and you want to display the graph, that you can also do that. We are going to see all of that as we progress. So I would like to stop here because of course we are going to go very deep into scientific computing. So we'll do all kinds of things like solve equations, simultaneous equations, quadratic, differential equations, and things like that as we go further into this. So try your hands on this. So you want to watch out for a repository where I'll be putting all these Jupyter notebooks, so you can actually download them and actually try them out on your own. So thank you so much for listening. If you have not subscribed to this channel, be sure to do that. And of course, you want to hit the notification bell so you can always get alerted anytime I release a new video. Then you want to comment, you want to like and share with others, because these are very useful resources for people that do things in line with this. Thank you so much for listening. See you in the next video.